Akinkunmi might have one of the most interesting origin stories of any OU football player in quite some time. He was born in London, and he didn't start playing football until high school. Only a few years later, he is considered one of the best interior offensive linemen in the 2024 recruiting class. Now, Akinkunmi comes to OU, not only representing himself, but also an entire nation where American football is still very much in its infancy. I want you to hear from Akinkunmi, and an added bonus, you'll get to hear his awesome accent. But before we get to that, I want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel on YouTube. Just hit that subscribe button and it will help me continue to bring you the guests and the content you want. I also want to say a word of thanks to these sponsors for supporting the Jenny Carlson Show. MidFirst Bank, National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum, FireLakeJobs.com, Next Gen Roofing, 988, Oklahoma's Mental Health Lifeline, the Oklahoma Ford Dealers Association. Drive into your best in Oklahoma Ford dealers today for the best deals on Ford's full lineup of trucks and SUVs. Ford is the best in Oklahoma. Two Fellas Movers. With over 20 years experience, Two Fellas Moving Company has pretty much moved it all. If you're moving in Oklahoma, make sure to call the fellas. Visit twofellas.com for your free quote today. You know, international football players are not some sort of brand new phenomenon in college football. Even around here, we've seen players from outside the U.S. who've been Sooners and Cowboys. A couple of recent ones who spring to mind include Neville Gallimore and Chuba Hubbard. A couple of Canadians. Gallimore played on the defensive line at OU. Hubbard is a running back at OSU, and both are now playing in the NFL. Australian punters and kickers. OSU's gotten into the Aussie pipeline, but those guys have become synonymous with football, college football and pro football. But now we may start seeing a surge of players from the United Kingdom. England. The NFL played its first international game in London in 2007, and for almost a decade, England was where the NFL played all its international games. The NFL has expanded its international reach now, playing games in Mexico, Germany, a variety of places. But London and England remain a hub for the league. In 2019, the NFL opened the NFL Academy in London, hoping to develop young high school age players. In 2020, Daniel Akinkunmi became one of the Academy's players. Now he's a freshman offensive lineman at OU. It's been quite a journey as he's a mid-year enrollee, will already be part of spring football for the Sooners here starting very soon. Akinkunmi was one of those newcomers who talked to media before spring ball started and had a lot to say. He was great to talk with. He and all the newcomers met with reporters, but I want you to hear straight from him as he shares about how he needs to improve as he enters college, how the NFL Academy prepared him for this move, and all about his accent. Yes, I had to ask about it. But first, he starts by talking about his outgoing personality, which everybody gets to see on the social media world. By the way, if you want to follow him, official_grind4 is his Twitter handle. But here's what he had to say about being open and inviting on social media.
I absolutely love it. I feel like giving the fans insight, I feel like that's something when I was looking to college football, that's something what a lot of guys don't really do. You have the stars who play college football, but they don't really post a bunch of stuff unless it's paid for. So I really feel like giving the fans the inside point of view is very nice because we never know. Like, something I realized about college football is it's such a family thing. Like, everyone in the US will probably have a family member they know, a cousin they know, a son or daughter who's in college football, who's in college in general, playing a sport. So I knew if I give an insight to fans, I get to know the fans on a personal level and get to know everyone. Like, I feel like that's something very important. I feel like family something was very important to me. And I feel like to all the OU fans, they're family to me. Since I'm here at OU, I'm probably never going to leave. This is the place I'm going to be for the next 4 years, and I can't wait to just be a part of a family and just try and win national championships.
You were at softball the other day, you were at basketball the other day, so you're mingling with the fans and things like that. Enjoyed being a student so far?
Yeah, I've absolutely loved being a student. It's a great experience to see the difference because obviously I've been around the university campus in the UK. To now be on the university campus over here in the US, You can see the differences. You can see how much everyone loves football here, and it's just great to see.
Your football acumen, you know, I've seen your film and things like that. You look like a dynamic player. But what have you found out about the adjustment you're going to have from there, what you've seen so far all year?
I feel like it will just be down to game speed. I feel like that's my biggest thing. Seeing things, doing things with second nature will be my biggest issue. Like, all of these guys have been playing this sport for such a long time. For them, certain things are just second nature. They know if certain guys do a certain move, they have to put their hand placement a certain way. If they do a certain move, I have to put my feet in a certain position. For me, I know it, but I have to think about it before I do it. So it means my reaction time is long, and it means it takes me more time to get in the right position. So what I need to work on is improve that reaction time and help myself make it become second nature.
Daniel, we got to talk about your accent. I love it, but people around here say Oklahomans have accents. So who's got the best accent on the team?
It has to be me. It has to be the you guys. I feel like that's the biggest thing I get complimented for when I go around on campus or anything. Like, crazy funny story was I was talking to some of the players and also around a big group of people. Yeah. And they're just around male, females. And I'm talking and I out of nowhere, it's like, oh my God, you from the UK? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh my God, you watch Love Island? So whenever I speak, they're like, they hear like shows or YouTubers they watch who are from the UK, and they're like, yeah, oh my God,
it's you.
It's a UK accent. You're from the UK. So it's very fun and great to see.
Are you adjusting to the accent? Are your teammates adjusting to your accent? I mean, there is a little bit of a southern accent in this part of the world.
I feel like we're adjusting very good.
Okay, that's good.
I feel like they're really enjoying it. Like, anywhere I go around in the facility, everyone's calling me bruv. Like I say, what up, bruv? What's good, bruv? I feel like everyone's starting to learn new slang from the UK and from the US. Like, we love to learn each other, like here as a family. Yeah. I love to learn about where they're from. They love to learn about where I'm from. And it's great to have that relationship in the locker room because it creates such a good chemistry. So when it comes down to playing games and stuff, we're ready to go. We're ready to die for each other on the field. So
you're talking about family in the locker room. You obviously left your actual family back in the UK. What was that decision like? I mean, you were traveling away from home to play ball these last couple of years, but just what did that conversation, what was that like?
The conversation was something we had to speak about as soon as I started the sport. We knew if I was going to become very good at the sport, I'm going to get these opportunities to go to the States. So I purposely actually, when the NFL Academy came into more of a border school setting, I purposely stayed at the academy and didn't go home, just to try and get me and my mum used to it, being away from home, so I don't struggle later on when I'm here, especially in a harder environment when it comes to football. It was a very tough decision, but my parents are happy that they're over the moon with how much has happened for me, the success I've had in such a short amount of time. So they're over the moon, but they're also worried. Yeah. But they trust coach staff so much. Like I tell everyone this, my parents trust coaching staff so much to a point. If anything happens to me, they trust them with me in their hands. They trust my life in their hands. Yeah. And from a mum or dad to ever do that, you must have to understand the amount of trust they have for the people and the coaches here. Yeah.
So has it been hard to be that far away? I mean, when you, like you said, I mean, you were doing something sort of similar, but it was still close-ish. Like, has there been moments where you or your folks have been like, oh God, this is different?
For me, I've really got used to it. For me, not doing it at the academy. But obviously, for my mum, it's different. Yeah. Especially I'm my only child. Yeah. So she's really struggling. So I try to keep her mind at ease. I try and call her when I can. I try to send her a message when I can. I try to stay in touch as much as possible. Yeah.
What I know that the sport of football in the UK has grown a lot. Obviously, the NFL has taken the game there a lot. The academy. But how has that, when you would tell friends, when you would tell people, hey, this is what I'm going to do, like, what was the reaction, and did it change over the last few years in the UK?
So, the reaction would be they wouldn't actually know. Majority of the UK doesn't know about scholarships. Okay. How big scholarships are.
So the idea of college football is like, what are you even talking about?
So we, until 2024, the UK never had rights to college football in general. Okay. So college football was not something you just turn on the TV and watch on a Saturday or on a Friday night. So it was a very alienated thing at first. when I feel like the academy really brought attention to it. I feel like the NFL Academy has really opened up and helped us really grow the sport in the UK and outside of Europe in general. Like I was talking with the NFL commissioner, I already knew about all of this was going to happen, of the big investment of outside the US and growing the sport out there. I'm just happy that the NFL decided to make that move of investing so much money and time. It was fabulous to see the recent commercial for the Super Bowl. The guy in the advert, Osi Amunuro, is actually my mentor, who I talk to a lot.
Really? Wow. And did you know he was going to be in the...
Yeah, I knew he was going to be in that.
Oh, wow.
So I get like a personal insight to everything. So it's amazing just to see it happen. I can't wait to a point where we have a couple guys in the league. We have more guys out here in universities like Oklahoma.
Yeah. So for you, I mean, obviously you come here, you want to do well for you, for your family, all of that. Is there extra pressure that you come here as, you know, a representative of a place that doesn't have a lot of college football players?
Yeah, I feel like there is extra pressure, but for me, I just play.
Yeah.
I love the sport. Like I said, I'm still a child of the sport. I absolutely just fall in love and enjoy the process.
Yeah.
Even though people say I have a whole country on my back, I have multiple countries on my back. There's a lot of pressure, but at the end of the day, you just play. You don't think about it. Like I feel like most greatest players just love the process, and everything else just comes with it. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love learning the sport, and it's just amazing to be at a place like OU.
Don't lose your accent.
I won't.
Don't lose it.
Trust me, I won't.
Well, what I told Daniel, I'll say it one more time. Do not lose that accent. I think that's one of those things that people are going to be associating with Daniel Akinkunmi for a long time to come. Now, listen, I don't know if this guy is going to play as a true freshman. Playing on either the offensive or the defensive line as a true freshman is always a big, tall task for young guys. But you can say that Daniel Akinkunmi will have every opportunity to play on that offensive line, since the Sooners lost a bunch of their offensive line, both to graduation and to transfers. Akinkunmi is one of 5 freshman offensive linemen who've come in at mid-year. So it'll be interesting to see what Bill Bedenbaugh does with them. He obviously tries to move guys around, wants them to play a lot of different positions so that they can have some flexibility on the offensive line. Akinkunmi is a guy that has trended towards playing on the interior, one of those guard positions. So it'll be interesting to see if he or any of the rest of those guys can lock down a starting spot as the Sooner team heads towards the fall. One last thing about him, Daniel Akinkunmi, 6'5", 310 pounds already. He has the frame that OU is going to need as it enters the SEC. The bigger the lineman, the better in that league. So if he can continue to evolve and improve, Akinkunmi has the type of build that will be a big deal, no pun intended, on an SEC offensive line. We'll have lots more on the Sooners heading into the start of spring football, so be sure to stay with selloutcrowd.com for all sorts of OU football coverage. If this happens to be your first time hearing or watching The Jenny Carlson Show, be sure to subscribe to my channel on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Also, you can download our new Sellout Crowd app for your iPhone or Android. Thanks again for being here, and we'll see you next time.